to you guys. You got 5 minutes? Whatever. What do you think? Shall we start? You've all made the effort to get here?
I want to move down a bit as well.
Start.
I'm a bit busier.
Yeah, come on, come closer. We're all friends. Go free.
How are you?
Been down the chips or maybe?
No, Elvis used to do that. John, all right? Yeah, good.
Everybody gets a warm back. I've got to sing a song or something. I'll get everybody in the mood.
Yeah.
Right, so who's got the first question? Where do we want to start? There you go. Let's have it in. Feel free. Please, Nick.
John, can we have an update on the long-term injuries?
Yeah, you certainly can. They're still injured. You was at the ground today. There's 2 players that hopefully will be back by Christmas, which will be Jordan Tunnicliffe and Sam Matthews. Most of the others recent out back in training, but as I've said numerous times, I think people are getting confused with being injured and being match fit, because we haven't got games to play them after they've been injured. The last thing that which has happened to a couple, but we've had to do it, is put them in a game where they're not fit and they get injured again. And we've had a couple, Jordan being one of them, who's come back, obviously injured himself again, and we don't want it. Sam Matthews was the same, he got another injury. So it's just one of them things. I think you talk to a lot of clubs, for some reason I think it's just something we've got to go through. No, the pitch don't help, but all should, but it's a nice training facility. If we had a grass pitch with a nice stadium and 27 physios and loads of beds, we might be all right, but we haven't, so you just got to monitor it.
What about Tom Dallison? Is he...
Nothing about with Tom Dallison at all. Nothing about him.
Any more questions?
I must say something. It's a little bit disappointing because all I've heard is that I never speak to the fans, and the fans never get to work with me. And you turn up, it's a credit to you lot, but you turn up and these mouthy gits who sit there hiding behind things, who keep threatening to ask this and do that and do whatever they want to do. Well, it would be nice if they showed up, wouldn't it? Thanks for being English.
I haven't got the mic, John, but can I
Would you
follow
like
up
the mic?
on that? No, I'm close enough to you. Is it possible that we could have a regular, say a weekly update on the club website of the situation with regards to individuals and their injuries? Because there's been a lot of them out, and unless you're one of those who's got their ear close to social media, which is not me at all, you rely on what the club tells you, and the club told us very little.
Well, if the club, no disrespect, and I don't disagree in a way, but if we tell you what's going on, then we're telling all the other clubs around the country what's going on.
Yeah, I know.
And if
Why
people,
should that be a secret?
it's not a secret, I just don't want them to know. I don't want them to pick their side.
Element of surprise.
Who said that? That's surprise, man. if the other team know who we got fit and who we got available, you know, we tried it with Tom Nichols playing at Bristol Rovers when he first came back. Listen, and it ain't all secret squirrel, it's not, you know, James Bond time, but it's just a little thing. And not only that, you dishearten the players. When the players keep saying, oh, they're not fit, they're not fit, they're not fit. All I can tell you is, and what we've said, we've even, on a Friday, an away trip, so I always take 19 players away. We've had to use that 19th player with people that we thought would have been fit, ain't fit. So it's just, at this moment in time, it's not me trying to lie to anybody. Sometimes I don't even know myself. And that's not me trying to have a cop out. And I think it doesn't affect me if you turn around, like I said, Reece Scott, Grego Cox, Jordan, Sam, they won't be available, they're long term. The sooner they get back, the better. But we could go in tomorrow and someone would be injured. Oh, why did you tell me about him? Well, I didn't know that he was going to be injured. You know, and it's not me, as I said, not me being a secret squirrel, but that's the way it goes. I hope that's helped you. It don't look like by the looks of it, but you know. Hello, mate. How are you?
Right.
Sorry, you finished?
Yep.
Yeah.
Firstly, yeah, thanks for being here tonight, giving us the opportunity to...
No problem. Your hat goes round later, so you can have a...
my question to both of you is, what is your top priority for for the transfer window that's upon us in January?
Do you want me to go first?
However you want.
My top priority for the transfer window, the same as it was last year. Obviously, when I took the job, I know that if somebody comes in, it's the same as any club in the Football League, your best player might go. That's the way it is. Have we got the money to bring anybody else in to buy somebody? No, we ain't, so that's straight out the window. And it's a matter of what we've been doing, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, and it's timing. You know, I remember sitting here, well not sitting here, but we signed 2 players on the same day, and everybody was absolutely slaughtering me again. Don't know what he's doing, what's he doing here, blah, blah, blah. Non-league players, Max Watters and Nick Cerula. So if you don't look, I'm out looking all the time, Lee's out looking all the time. The players, believe it or not, are good scouts, because they get, you know, people telling me. At this level, I think transfer windows, unless you're in the top 6 with a budget of unbelievable things, I think the transfer window is just a fallacy. It just gets in the way of everything. Because all it does is unsettle your players, because they all think they're worth billions of pounds and going to go somewhere.
So can I read from that you've not got a particular position that's at the top of your list?
Oh yes.
I would like to fill
I've
that.
always got top positions of what we need, but where, you know what I mean, I want to win the lottery, I want a bigger yacht.
So what position is that then, John?
I think anybody, if you can go and get me a striker who scores 35, 40 goals a season, good. We might need another aggressive midfield player, which I think we lack sometimes, i.e. someone who can break things up. Other than that, I'm quite happy with the boys, to be honest with you. And he's proved it. It's funny, you know, because some of you that go to the away games, and there's quite a few of you, you see a different, every opposition say how well we are and what good side we are and all that. I'd rather them turn around and say what an horrible ugly side we are, we come away with 3 points. So you look at what we're trying to do and what we are doing and the past that's gone on, I don't think we're doing that bad. We are where we are, you know. I think we've got the second lowest budget now in the league.
I think this is a bit below the average.
Right, so that's where we are with it. So I'm not going to sit here and say to you, yeah, I'm out looking for Johan Cruyff, because we're more like getting, you know, Cruyff's dog show than Johan Cruyff's, if you know what I mean. But that's what it is. I know the job, and we all know the job, so either get on with it or go home. There'll still be hundreds of people wanting to do it. Whether they do it as good as me, I don't know. But that's up to you to decide. Over to you, then.
Yeah,
Does that help?
Yeah.
Hello to everyone. I think we have to just see how the long-term injuries go, and there's a few players that we have to try and possibly get off the books so that we can then may make some money to try and spend in the positions that the gaffer wants to. But we've still got a big, 2 months before the January the 1st. So we have to look into that really first, I think, and then get over the next, because there's many, probably 10, 12 games. There's a cut game as well. So we have to focus on what we can change immediately. And then when the window comes, I'm sure we're quite good at, I think we're good at recruiting. So therefore, I believe we can test ourselves again in the January market and hopefully improve the team and our fortunes.
Okay. Can I just say, I think the lack of people here is in part because your real fans, which are the ones that are mostly here, are actually supportive of both the club and the manager at the moment. In the last forums of which I've been to, both with Gabriel and with Harry, there were a lot more people here, but that's because people came out because they were more nervous about the club, the management and the way it was being run, whereas people are more content with it now, so they don't necessarily need the field to come here to come and put the pressure on you guys around that. That's my opinion on it, and that's that. So you should take it as a compliment in some ways that there's less people here.
Well, I would like it, yeah, I totally agree with you. I appreciate that, and the thing is, it would be nice if a lot more people thought they had trust in you and what have you. And what people don't realise is, listen, I don't go on social media, I don't, you read it when my daughter phones me up and certain things are being said and this, that and the other. Does it bother me? Of course it doesn't bother me. Does it bother me? Of course it does. We're all humans, we all like being liked. And I don't mind people telling the truth or having a go or having a pick or having this. But who's that geezer that drives everybody mad? Goes under the name
Peace Pottage.
Peace Pottage. Who's been highlighting me. I don't know the geezer from Adam. And every time you look at him, you're thinking, why don't you come and knock on my door and come and spend a day with us? And you got full of trap and all that when you're there. And people do get influenced by that because people read it. Now, if he thinks that, good luck to him. I don't give a monkey's who he is or what he does. But if he don't put his belly at the bar like you lot do and come and buy a ticket and come and have a beer and come and talk football, stay off the website. I can't believe, used to be good in the old days, in the Majid days, used to have the old Red Devils. with Fad and all that who used to work at the BBC, well, they was funny as well as pain in the arse, to be fair. But what good supporters they were at the time. Because what they were saying was truth, and if you come out and being truthful with people, you might not like the truth sometimes, all of us don't. But if you don't want to know, don't ask. Don't ask the things that you don't want to, but don't go on a website and hide behind someone, thinking that you're like Al Capone sitting there giving it all the blah, blah, blah. This is what's wrong, that's what's wrong. Well, come here and say it then. Come here and say it, and we might give you an answer to your questions. You don't give everyone the sitting on the computer. He'll be on there tonight again now. I've made his day now because I've made him more famous than the service station.
It's probably closed.
Yeah, I wish he was.
Any other questions? There you go.
Hi, Steve here. I just had, because when you mentioned about Erdem, you mentioned about there's some players that you feel need to be taken off the wage bill like quite soon. It kind of went on to my point that I do think our squad is actually pretty big for a club of our size, and obviously the amount of revenue we're getting from ticket sales. So I just wonder whether, especially some of the younger players, that kind of what like the plan is to maybe like develop them, and maybe like whether is there plans to maybe like would there be some that might be going out on loan, or would there be a case where we will have to offload quite a few of them, like either January or in the summer?
Yeah, well, referring to that, what I mean is there are younger players that we need to get out on loan. Why we have so many? Because we don't have an academy. But if you look at 74% of our transfer revenue in the past 5 years has come from players that have played 6-7 players that all together have played probably 55 minutes of EFL League football. So that tells you the trend over the past 5 years is you get more value for money than players that haven't played in EFL football. So you try and find a way of trying to make this strategy work. I think we've got too many maybe younger players, 18-year-olds, that this is a challenge that we're facing at the moment, and we have to find a way of developing them. Before last year with the gaffer, we had an idea to play friendlies, 12 friendlies a year, so that would help with their development. Unfortunately, due to COVID reasons, that hasn't worked out. And we need to find a way of encouraging the development of these players. And that's a challenge for us. Now, if we get it right, we've got players that can possibly earn up to seven figures for the club. That's the aim of the game. And as you can see, the boy that went from Exeter to Peterborough went for 1 million plus in a COVID situation. So we have to try and get that right, because that's one of the main, over the past 5-6 years I've been here, the biggest variable that has changed our futures or destiny has been the transfer strategies. And then comes the cup run at the moment, from what I've witnessed. So therefore, it's something that it does need fine tuning. I don't think it's complete. I don't think it's a failure. I think it's a success. I think it's about, if I was going to put a percentage on it, I'd say between 80 to 85% so far success rate. That's how I view it myself. However, it does need a bit of fine tuning, because we've got 3 or 4 18-year-olds. They're very good potential players, but at the moment they're not physical enough to even play conference football. So we have to say, okay, how can we carry on developing these players without having an official academy? That's one thing when the gaffer says compared to other clubs, we probably have got the second smallest or third, fourth smallest budget, because we're not all our academies inside that budget as well. Whereas an Oldham or other clubs within our league, they've got academy budgets, but that's all under one roof. But together with the gaffer, we're trying to create these type of assets so that the club can be self-sustainable. And the main goal of this club is self-sustainability. If you don't achieve self-sustainability, then you're just going into it, no one's going to keep funding money, putting money in. And unfortunately, that's the key for this club to survive and progress. We can all wish for the dream now, which is going up, which is great, and we want that, I want that. I'm a bit disappointed in myself over the past 6 years that we haven't got closer to that. However, I know that we have got better with our transfer strategy. We have, for example, the leads. And this special group that we have right now, this is the best we've ever had it. Forget the last 3 games. And at the end of the day, we have to just concentrate and hopefully, keep delivering. But the main goal of this club, our level, what we think about is self-sustainability, because that makes it something that you can build on and progress through the leagues.
So you want me to answer that as well, then, didn't you?
Yeah, you can do if you want, yeah.
Oh, then. Obviously, I knew all that when we came into it. The difficulty being is when you got, you know, people keep saying to me, look at the size of the squad, and you look down it, and I've done them, which I've left downstairs. I like to work with about 24, 26 players is what we've got, 2 for every position. When you've got 9 of them out injured, we still had a couple with COVID as well in the summer. You're looking at these young kids to come in, as we see at Charlton and as we see at, when we bloodied a few here as well against, where was that other side from over in? Orient. Yeah, that was it, forgotten them. Up them as well. So it's a chicken and an egg. Would I be comfortable with going up to Rochdale on a cold Tuesday night with 24 of my squad that, you know, are under 6, that they've got letters off their mother to come out of a night time and go and compete? Well, it's impossible. That's why you need senior pros around the place, because you don't see the work that's going on behind the scenes as well, developing them. And developing to me, you know, 18, 19, if you're not developed or showing signs by then, what you at Crawley for? Our team at the minute is full of players that have either been rejected, injured, bits to prove, for whatever fell foul or something in their career, but they want to make a go of it. And they've come back here, and we've given most of our first team there the opportunity to do that, and I think they've done it. But that's the market we're in. You know, when I was at Bournemouth, it was completely different. Well, it wasn't at first, but then it started moving up, and that's when it don't get fun anymore, because whoever's got the chip, it's happening in this league, I think, this year, which is a bit sad to see. Whoever's got the biggest checkbook, you know, is going to be in and around it. Doesn't mean to say they're going to sustain it, but my opinion as well, there was 3 or 4 clubs that cheated last year, but very controversially. I won't say they are, but one of them got promoted. You know, one minute you're 4th from the bottom and you've got no money and everybody's feeling sorry for you, and the next thing you're paying out more money than the Queen spends on horses. And we beat them at home. We lose to them here, and the world's coming. We got beat by Bolton. I've said it. We got beat by Bolton. What would you expect? They spent their money in the Christmas. We can only name 23 players to start the season in the squad. That's right, isn't it? 23 players. So that's all you can play. It don't matter whether we've got 106 in the programme. You can only play and register as the league in their wisdom. Because we haven't got an academy, you can't register your academy boys. You can the under 21s, but we can't register academy boys. A lot of sides register the academy boys and the first team boys. We can't. Does that answer your question? Go on, another one, go on.
Yeah, it does. So looking after hearing that, I was just wondering as well whether there's might be a chance that we can maybe make use of some of the links we have with local non-league sides and maybe help somewhat in terms of setting up loan deals for these players. And also, I was just wondering, are we thinking playing on entering a team into the Sussex Senior Cup this season as well? Because I was thinking that could also be a good opportunity to further develop some of these players.
What, one game? If you turn around, there's 3 of the boys just walked in. I didn't know they was coming tonight. But you've got one lad there, you talk about that, who come from non-league, who came in 2 years ago, Sam, wasn't it? Came in for a chance. Jordan Tunnicliffe was playing non-league, right? That's where they come from. So when you look at Sam there, who's nearly a regular in our first team, when he starts scoring, it works. And it's no disrespect to Sam or to Jordan. You would have had to pay top money for them now, but we ain't got top money, so we can all dream, can't we? And this for you saying about the Sussex Cup, of course, a bit living here, but you know, that's another game. If one of them boys at the back now who's come here, played in the Sussex FA Cup and got injured, I wouldn't be very happy.
It could be the same situation in a friendly game, John.
Could be, but at least in a friendly game I wouldn't play them because we'd be playing the others. Sussex Cup, I'd want to win it.
Any more questions?
Can I just ask at the back, boys, what are you here for? Come down, come and introduce yourselves. Come down. I don't know whether you know him, those of you that do turn up, these are 3 of our players.
What's their names?
Their names are Tom Nichols? Tom Nichols? Yeah, Sam, don't be silly. Sam Ashford. No, sorry, what's your name? Panucci Kamara, isn't it? And Jordan Tunnicliffe. Jordan, could you give Jordan the microphone a minute, please? While you're on, Jordan. Joel, people are driving me mad because they think I've locked you in a cupboard somewhere. Can you just explain to people what's been your injury and what you've done, please? This is from the horse's mouth, so Mr. Pete's Pottage and his gang, if you're watching, this is coming from Joel. Tony Craig says hello as well, by the way.
Hartley Paul, obviously, I pulled my calf and that sent me back for about 3-4 weeks. Coming back from that and doing fitness work with fitness coach, I got tendonitis in my Achilles, which sent me back another 3-4 weeks. And that was 4 weeks ago now, and coming back from that with a fitness coach, I pulled my calf, and it's just part and parcel of the game. Nothing to do with Joel. Joel's a brilliant fitness coach to physios. I haven't been injured in a good 4 or 5 years, and it's just my turn to get a few injuries, and it is what it is. I've been watching the lads, supporting the lads, and I think they've been brilliant this season, so, yeah.
So that's the first one. Sorry, Keith. Could you pass the microphone to Tom Nichols, please? Tom Nichols, most underrated player at the club, who was a little, I was going to swear
Not
there,
by us.
who everybody was telling everybody that for me not to sign him, and we go back quite a way, Tom, didn't we? He was a little scrub playing for Tom was out for the first with a shoulder injury that he was told. How long was you told you'd be out for? 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
4 months, and that's before we kick a ball. Well, we had kicked the ball, and Tom came back within what, 8 weeks.
Yeah, about 8 weeks, yeah.
So and his first came back was Bristol Rovers. So just explain that, please, Tom.
Well, obviously, in pre-season, I think it was a West Ham game, landed awkwardly on my shoulder and tore something in my shoulder, and they told me I had to have an operation, but I can't be out for 4 months. It would drive me mad, so I thought I'll give it a go at rehabbing it, and it worked, and I got back in 8 weeks. So yeah, it was a bit frustrating, and it was almost got chucked in as early as possible, really. So I was still catching up on the minutes, and that's why I was probably not hit the ground running as much as I would have liked, but I'm back to full fitness now, so yeah, I'm over that and it's in the past now.
So when you listen to Sam Ashford, who keeps saying he needs more minutes, just he's working on it. But that goes to show you, boys, that's just two lads that have come, who you think you've got Jordan in the team of the season, Tom scoring, how many goals, Tom, last year?
15.
15 goals, so you missed them 2 players to kick off with, and which you don't expect to. So, you know, you're on the back foot already. It's lucky. Go on, you're going to say something.
And also, Nick was injured as well for August. I think that.
Do you want to change seats?
Yeah, Nick Cerulli, he was injured as well in August. I think that.
Why you come sit here and you tell me, no, go on, I'm only joking. You tell us what's going on.
Nick was out, and since I thought having him back.
Was Nick out as well?
He was, yeah. And then when he came back, like in September, I think I did notice some results.
Anyone else out?
No, he's got the team for the Paul Vale Cup.
I think he'd better do a better job than I.
I haven't.
Boys, what have you come for tonight anyway? Did you have to come tonight?
No, just thought we'd come and have a listen. Got nothing else to do, so.
Well, oh, see, I thought they might turn around and say they're coming down to back what we're doing, but obviously Tom's too honest for that. But that shows you, that's what I'm saying to you, that's just them two. And we've had Sam Matthews out. We had 3 shoulder injuries, wasn't it? You, Sam, Ludi, and Blondie. 4 shoulder injuries. So it was up to between 8 to 3 months. Ridiculous. It's all the money they're earning, I think. Sorry, next question. Oh, go on, Keith. Sorry.
Any question? Anybody? Feel free. There you go.
I was just going to say, I noticed. Sorry.
Hi, John Moon, in case you don't know. I noticed the owner was over for the Sutton game. Did he stay on for the next game? I was just wondering because, he normally puts out some statement to say, to encourage people and, he's very, we've got to say it's very supportive of the club. But I don't know, have I missed him this season, or is that the first time he's been over this year?
It's the first time he's been over this year.
Yeah,
I think
it was good to see him, I've got to say.
Oh, I'm glad you saw him.
I saw him on the gallery on the website. Yeah.
No, listen, he's a very busy man, but I'll leave Erdem to do that because obviously he was he had business things to do over there and he never saw the side.
Yeah.
Hey ho. Erdem.
No, he obviously was it for the game, and then they're trying to purchase metal entities in North England. so which took their time going up to Liverpool, Manchester. That's why they weren't here for the Exeter game, but they were here for the Sutton game. And that was basically the meetings that happened late at night in the week before he left. And that's the story.
Okay. So he's happy how things are going? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You know.
yeah, he
I
is
mean, he
happy.
hasn't given you a vote of confidence, has he?
No, that's not.
I wish he did, but being turkey on a beach, I think, that's about where I want to vote with confidence. No, I think we should give him one, to be fair. Because he's doing what he's doing and nobody sees him. He's a bit of an unsung hero to use lot. But listen, without people like that, it wouldn't be as easy to be critical of people, but without him, there wouldn't be a football club. But at the same token, there's other things that we discuss, and it's all arguing, because all I'm worried about is the players. As long as we don't get a load of lies filled for us, you won't get it off of me, and I'm sure you won't get it off of Erdem, but I think he's trying his best. Bit annoying when he said he's doing metal work and that, because you're expecting a load of Sam Ashford to turn up and a load of robots, but it should be alright.
No, it's very much still committed to the club, and it's moving forward. It's just obviously not everything can be perfect by visiting the club and so forth, but the most important thing is he's doing what he does for the club, which is indispensable going forward.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Without him, where would we be?
Yeah.
You'd have to borrow some money for Jordan, I think.
Anyone else got a question? You've all made the effort to come in, feel
Yeah.
free. There you go.
Because you're obviously closest to the chairman, to the owner, he backs this club and tries not to take anything out. He'd never make a glazer in his life. But if he had a bit more money, he'd do a good follow-up to Roman Abramovich, because he's another one that puts his money in and hopes that the people he's got are going to get the right answers. I don't think since I've been in this town, quite honestly, that the club's had a better owner than Erdem. So thank you for that, because he's obviously a mate of yours too.
No, I appreciate that, and I think, I mean, at the end of the day, he's done wonders for the club, and he's always backed it through thick and thin. That's the truth. He wants to grow it. I mean, he wants to keep growing it as an asset as much as he can, at the same time as a club. I think, objectively speaking, I think English football's going up in value, especially now with the Saudis coming in at Newcastle. I think that overall, we're going to the EFL meetings. What I'm understanding is the value of the smaller clubs are rising, as long as you stay in the EFL. So we know how important it is and paramount it is for Crawley to stay within the EFL. And I think it's been about 10, 11 years now. But when I look down at the conference, it's a scary place, because I think we'd be 14th or 15th or 16th possibly in gate receipts in those leagues, which is worrying. I mean, Dulwich get more than us on a home day. So therefore, I know people won't like me saying this, but I think staying in the League Two, it is a minimum expectation, but it's a good thing, a success, because we're keeping the second smallest club in the EFL within the EFL, and it's difficult sometimes. We go and play Bradford. Bradford get in 3 home games, they get what we get in the whole season, including cup games. That's what we're up against, and I think we've beaten them twice at home and drew once with them. So we've shown that we can compete and progress, so it's just important that we keep doing that. I thank Mr. Aaron as well. He has backed us through thick and thin, and I hope that we carry on working hard for him and that we all stay united.
There you go. Aaron, we stick with the microphone, it probably makes it easier, doesn't it? Everyone gets to go. Carry on.
I've got a microphone.
There you go.
So thank you, Keith.
Feel free.
I've been waiting to ask a question for the last 8 months after your questions on social media, John. It's never dull, is it, on a Saturday afternoon or Tuesday night?
People tell me that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be a bit controversial. I think we've got a really good team. It's good to see the lads there. It's good to see Tom Nichols. If you can keep people like here, it's the best team I've seen since probably Ted Shepherd, the way we play. It's really good. And on the whole, we get it right, don't we? But the only thing I'd like to ask is, have we learned anything from the whole Josh Wright episode? Because
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Learn anything with Josh Wright? What have you learned? What do you mean by that?
well, given the bloke a 2.5 year contract, it was never going to work with him.
Why? Someone who's played in the Championship, played over 400 or 500 league games, and he comes here and gets treated like a dog's abuse off of people when he hadn't even kicked the ball. He was in hospital with COVID that nobody bothered. His uncle had died just before Christmas. His dad was suffering from COVID and nearly died, and Josh still went out and played for us because we were short. And his brother Mark, because we never had no players. So all these people that are sitting there being smart asses, were sitting there going, oh, the right this, the right that. The club never had so much publicity, good or bad. And it brought the club to the highlight of everything else. And what a coincidence that on the back of that, the lads was playing well, and the lads took to him. And it was just, that, for my opinion, it'd still be at the football club, but that's a bit controversial because I was told to get rid of it.
Okay. I just assumed it was you who made the decision.
No.
Okay.
I backed the decision because I had to. Well, I didn't have to.
I didn't know that, John. So.
But let's know it, because who's the next one? Who wants to have a little pop at Tony Craig now while we're on the topic? Anyone else? I keep hearing Tony, too old, too this, too that.
It was a 1.5.
To be fair to him,
It was a 1.5 deal.
To be fair to with Tony, I mean, I wasn't. To be fair.
Oh, so it was you that was writing it then?
No, but I've said I do think that in the last few games he has actually been one of the better players. I'd argue, yeah.
What about all the other 27 games where you're telling people that, because the boys read that, I'm glad they've come in here to back me, I think, and they don't want, they're too shy to tell me that, because I give them almost 30 quid each to come in with, so. But they come in the back because there's nothing more frustrating than people telling you what to do with players. You don't see them, you see them on a Saturday, which you judge them on. We have just, think of what the whole evening is for us. You've got good senior pros in the club that need to be there for the young uns, on and off the pitch. Because we don't want Larry Little Gits going around and think that they've made it already and going to show around. And as soon as you put that Crawley badge on, you're a target. You represent the football club. And if you don't want to represent the football club, take the badge off. Don't swan around thinking that you're Crawley players, because it don't wash for me. And it takes good players like George, even Nico now. He's been to places. You know, you forget Nico's put the free transfers, 2 good transfers in his career. Who's been around other clubs. Tony's been 650 games and people are knocking the fella. You don't see what he does. Joe Lynch comes in, played in the Championship. How do you get players like that? And we're attracting them on not. They could have gone to other clubs. Nico could have gone to other clubs. Jordan could have gone to other clubs if he didn't get injured, but he decided to stay for his treatment. Right? But all I'm saying with that is, you don't see the other side of it, and it is hurtful. You know, we've been in the game too long, but some of the younger lads that you sit there, or these keyboard warriors, are all thinking, like I say to you, I'm not knocking you, but I am if he's one of you, because I think you can compete with a lot of cobblers, and all you do is upset people. Because that ain't an opinion, that's just you trying to rile people. Opinions coming here and telling me, or telling Tony.
And also, there's also a time that in the Leighton Orient games where I did thought when he gave I saw him, Tony Craig, when he gave his shirt to a young fan in the crowd, so I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, that was his son.
Was it really? Yeah, but I thought even at the time that he could have just easily just.
Yeah, so what you're doing, so you're judging a fella and giving his shirt away, and what a lovely man off the pitch. That don't mean nothing. We got beat 4-1, and Tony will go in that dressing room and eat the people that let the goals in, because we're all passionate, the boys will tell you, but nobody goes out there to lose. But I just think you've got to stop all this complete and utter. Well, that's only my opinion. I don't mind having opinions, but don't. You can put in black and white whatever you want, and we sit there and go, oh yeah, you agree or disagree. But when you get told the truth, when silly, I shouldn't say that, when I'm being asked questions after the game and people go, oh, he's rude, ask the proper things. Things that are relevant to this football club. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
But as I say,
to be honest, I'm really surprised by your answer. So,
yeah,
that's interesting.
So am I really. I'm glad you believe me.
I believe you.
But that's all I'm saying to you. Like I say to you, listen to Mr. P. They do more damage. You do more damage slagging the lads off because there's enough. I'll slag them off enough. We do enough. Throwing tables at people. I've gone past that stage.
Can I just say, the reason I said Josh Rice was a 2.5-year deal, because it was publicised in January.
No, it was a 1.5 plus 1, but there's a trigger in there for the +1.
That's why you need a trigger. Everyone needs a trigger, don't
I wish I had a trigger.
You made the effort.
Talk about Joel Lynch. His contract is out in January.
At the moment.
Are you looking at keeping on for the rest of the season?
I'd like to keep Joe for the next 3 years if he can stay fit. You've got another sort of, you've got some good players in the side. The continuity, when I finish, and you've got 2 or 3 good players here that could go and become managers and coaches, because you've never had it. Even while I've been here at Crawley, you go and get these You're going to get managers come in that are just looking to get another job on the back of it. And that don't breed your stability. You then go and get managers here that do a good job and then run out of money or spend all the money or do what they got to do. We ain't spent all the money because we ain't had no money to spend. I don't get a budget. I get told off of Erdem what we need to spend. I don't get a budget. Strange. Never had it before in my life, but we don't. But I knew that when we come in the job. I'll tell Erdem what I want and he says you can either, it's up to him and go and sort the deal with me. He can't sort the deal with that's down to him, isn't it? I'll still try and get the players. Weird, isn't it? Which then it's Crawley. It wouldn't be weird if it wasn't Crawley, would it? Can't do anything right. And I'm glad you said about that being the owner, being all the while you've been at Crawley's the best owner. You've only lived with Crawley 3 weeks. Next question.
Any more questions? Feel free.
You have a question. I thought this would be absolutely ramo in here tonight. All these people that keep wanting to give me a bit of a live oak. Any questions you want to ask? What's the capital of France or anything like that?
John, are you going to prepare yourself for the referee on Saturday? Because I think he booked you last time, and obviously we've had some shitty referees for the last 2 home games. So
I think that's to call on what you just said. I would like to say that, but I'll get fined, so I can't call them shitty. And I totally agree with you. But the thing being with it is as well, I just think the standard of officials across the board, and it's not only me that's saying it. You know, there's certain things that happen in games. Tom he's got to be the most kicked player, him and Crawley, that I've seen. Him and Kes, the most kicked 2 players that I've ever seen. And yet they don't get half the protection they should. And I think they've speed tracked so many referees. I know without a ref, I know the old saying, without a ref you can't have a game, and you're moaning about the ref. Never ever said the refs have cost us the game, but they don't help anymore. And I think they're finding it far, far too much for them. They've never been in the pro levels. You know, some of these was running, wouldn't even let them run a game at Hackney Marshes. And they tell you lies, they blatantly lie to you. They blatantly lie to you. You can have this report. You get a report sent to you by questioning a ref, and all of a sudden you get fined. Well, I will appeal it. Well, it costs you another £100. The club has to pay. But you've just got to stand there and you can go and murder someone and take your chances in court. You can't with these. What they say goes. It's wrong. Never going to change that.
How was Ashley coped with that, having 2 red cards? I mean,
You've seen Ashley Nadesan in his true colours. He is one wild, wild man. he can't tackle a fish up and that, bless him, and he's got sent off twice. Once because the geezer's headed in, nutted in, and he didn't move, so the ref decided. And then the other one, the diving and all that cobblers, if the goalkeeper would have just grabbed me like that, he would have punched straight in the mouth. And then nothing was said about it. He booked the 2 wrong players. He booked 2 wrong players in the penalty box.
Yeah.
Didn't he, Tom? What did he say? He had no idea.
The first one's not a yellow.
He had no idea. He didn't know who to book. He did not know who to book. Now you're sitting there after doing that and you're thinking, he could have got me the sack there. You know, he could have done it. They don't realise it. People, they're relying on it for their mortgages and things like that. People are. You know, you come to pay good money, you don't come to say some clown with a whistle. Always tell a good referee, you don't know he's there.
I think I've noticed how some of the games seen here, the referees, to me, they look like a rabbit in the headlights, like, especially, was it the Harrogate one? Wasn't he the same guy that headbutted the Ipswich playing last season?
Who are you talking about? Referee Bunny?
The referee had
That's
the
what I mean, rabbit in the headlights.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like they freeze sometimes, like, don't know which one.
Well, they do, because they can't handle the games. As players, the lads will tell you, they're playing in it.
Yeah.
The lads are playing in the game. They'll tell you, ask Tom what it's like to be kicked, then give the ball away and not give a free kick against him, or Sam Ashford getting tackled by the linesman.
Well, a penalty against Sutton that was never given.
Yeah, the penalty at Sutton, Sam. Who was that? Was that?
It was Tom Nichols in the first 5 minutes.
Blatant penalties, worse than the penalty that we got. Sorry, I'm waffling. I should ask you questions.
You got any questions for us, John?
I have, and this is a serious one. If you know these people, that you know these websites, and you know these people that go on the website, surely, if you're on there, that they must give you the ump as much as it gives everyone else the ump. And it used to be a little bit self-policing, and I cannot see anyone getting any satisfaction out of what some of these clowns say, to be honest.
It's the new world.
It's the new world, I keep telling you. Well, I'm glad that and whoever put in there that I was going to, back time I went to my cave in Tenerife, you know, it's time I went, it was Mallorca, it wasn't Tenerife. So. Steve?
I think the trouble is the same people who slag you off as most of the season they do. If you win 3 games on the trot, they'll have you winning the league. They're the same people who go into the bar at 3:30. They missed half the goals we scored because they're in the bar. You know, so they're the sort of people that you've got to put up with. They can't offer an opinion because they don't watch the games as we do.
That's what I'm saying. Whether it's the new world or whether it ain't, they then go on a website and absolutely slaughter the boys and slaughter me. But listen, all rubber ducks back to me, but they can slaughter it and you've got no right to reply. It just makes the club look muggy. And it's far from muggy. All the while we're here, it won't be muggy, I'll tell you that much.
Any further questions? You all made the effort to come, feel free.
Got to be thinking. Go on.
Sorry, another one from me.
No, go on. Keep going.
So it's funny when you, like earlier when you touched on with the Wright brothers and like it's I was quite interested like in how like maybe how the club might have benefited commercially from the Mark Wright deal, especially considering that spectators weren't allowed in the grounds at the time. So
Yeah, actually, we couldn't do that because I wasn't here to do it, you see. That's
right, the commercial manager wasn't
yeah,
here.
you see. Now we get it sorted
But I
out.
think the lads had a couple of good nights out on the back of it.
Magic wouldn't have been allowed to at the time, to be honest.
You were such a wizard, honestly. You were amazing, man.
I think if we could get a night out with Michelle Collins, I would go, I think. But there you go. But yeah, any more questions?
On here, Keith.
Any more questions? Anybody?
Someone's got to be asking, saying, you ain't travelled all out and that, you've got another 20 minutes yet for Coronation Street, so you might as well have a go. You won't get another free shot unless we get relegated.
Go on, have another go.
No, this is more of a question for everyone here, really. What would everyone consider to be a good season this year? I mean, for me, last year was a great season. We finished middle of the table, but we had a great cup run. And I love cup runs.
I think last year, I might be wrong, but Sam would tell me over there, head of media. Furthest, best, I think the best result in the club's history by beating Leeds 3-0. It's a pity that nobody was there, and it wasn't a Joey Leeds side, by the way. It was a proper Leeds side. They had proper players out there playing. I think the club's been in the league since Erdem's regime has been here. I think it was the most you've ever received for a player in 1 year, in Max. And I think it was the most clean sheets as well, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So not bad for someone who don't know what he's doing in the team that are rubbish. So, you know, must be doing something right. Must have been to a lot of poor sides last year. Next question.
So I've got a question then. John, technically a fan as well. With all of that, and we've got the best team, and we've done all the good things, why can we not get more than 2,500 people to come and watch us? There you go. Over at the front.
Well, just go down to Three Bridges Station, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and you'll see why. You'll go and watch Arsenal, Spurs, or in West Ham, all the London sides. We are a London new town, and that's a fact.
So where's Dulwich then?
Dulwich have always been Dulwich. Crawley have been.
Where's Sutton? Sutton got 4,500. We've got loads of people living in Crawley. I don't disagree with you, but we have the catchment area to
I think you could be looking. I don't know why we don't look to change them when you play your games. Southend years ago and Tranmere years ago used to get mobbed out, and Southend, Tranmere done it this year. We're playing the games on a Friday night. They got absolutely bombed out, and then the people that go on a Saturday they've got nowhere to go, and then we can go and watch games as well. You can go and watch players. But I've said to Erdem many a time, but he's trying to look into it. Friday nights, why not? I think you get a lot of people, you get more bang for your buck, so to speak. I don't know what league, if the league will let you do that Erdem, but play on a Friday night. Tranmere done it. Tranmere always used to do it because obviously Liverpool and Everton across the road. And then Southend used to do it because you've got West Ham and you've got the mighty Millwall, and that was up the road. So why not try it here? You've got no excuses then. You'll go and have a light hour afterwards and have a night out celebrating our win. Meet the players in the bar. Sam Ashford dancing, ooey ooey.
I think on that note,
You don't want to watch him dance, no.
but actively, I don't think as a board we've concentrated on increasing the attendance, and maybe we should have, but we've concentrated on the commercial, on the football, and trying to get the other variables right for the club to grow. But the pleasing fact is there is room for it to grow, and I think that's something that we have to start looking at more seriously for next season, because even if we can get another 500 or 1,000 in, that's another 6 figures into the football club. So that's something that definitely needs to get visited, and that's in the plans. But when we came 6 years ago, there's only 5 contracted players here, so there's a lot of work to be put in for the club to grow. I know we haven't been promoted, but we have grown as a football club. I think, to repeat myself, as a transfer strategy, I think we're in the top 5 over the past 5 years from transfer revenue gained. So that's something that's increased and it's soaring. We still have very good chance to make money this year from our transfer policies. So hopefully we can keep that going, and we do need to focus on increasing the attendance, because it's something that unfortunately I don't think we've concentrated or exhausted resources on, to be honest with you.
Well, we have 3,500 plus against Sutton.
Yeah, that's because they bought 1,000.
But what
They
is
only
Sutton?
bought 570.
Then we dropped 1,300 home support for the Exeter game.
To be honest as well, I think it don't happen if you've got a dodgy result, does it? People have got short memories. I keep saying to the boys, even with the COVID, we had to create our own atmospheres. And you've got to create something that the people want to come and watch. That's the first thing. Because your core supporters will turn up, whether you've got Tom and Jerry running the club or whether you've got the people that are doing it now. You'll be here regardless. But the other side of that is you won't turn up if, 1, the football's no good, and 2, most importantly, everybody wants to see a winning side. I was saying to Erdem earlier that you'd rather be £20 million in debt and winning the league. You wouldn't give a monkeys because you're the league winners. They would, because it'd be their day, not ours. I'll be on your side, by the way, because then we're getting more. But that's the nature of football now. You even look at the Man Cities and the new, when we was in the Prem, it was crazy. You're going to these places where their income don't sustain what their outgoings are. And yet they're still allowed to get away with it, because they've got billionaires. You don't need 1 billionaire now, you need about 3. And it's all, where do you stop? Where do you stop playing money into it? Where you got to, get players? Where you got to start reducing your own? And a club like Crawley, the good thing is you see the 3 boys behind you. Tom lives in Bristol, Sam Ashford lives in Chelmsford, Jordan lives in Birmingham, and yet they all moved down. They're all living there. Don't think that's happened before. I think there's only 7, 8 boys there, all local, which they're living in the area. Years ago, you would have got relocation money and all things like that. Don't anymore. And that saved the club. That's £8,000 each you would have got. So the lads are making a commitment by moving in the area. But once again, Mr. Peace Pottage and his firm are all on there going, oh shit, this one, do. Well, have a look, see what they're doing with their lives. They're trying to make it, they're trying to make the club successful. Nobody wants to come here and lose, especially me. And I know the boys don't.
In regard of the supporters bit and getting more people through the games, I think you don't advertise too much around the town. So at those train stations, for example, where everyone is at the Saturday morning, you don't walk up through that train station to your platform and see Crawley Town playing Port Vale this Saturday. I know you advertised on the electronic thing outside the Snooty Fox recently, but that's very little compared to what you could be doing at Crawley or Three Bridges or even in the town. If you go to Sports Direct in the town and look at the kits that are in there, you've got Man United, Spurs. Crawley as a town doesn't even have the Football League side shirt in there for sale. You've got to come here to buy it. Now you want people to come in and buy it, but why not have one in town?
Yeah,
that's
right.
a small thing that's reflective of how much of what's going on in the town.
No, I definitely do agree with you. It does need visiting.
And the parades as well, in fact. There's opportunities to advertise on the parades.
No, I think it's something that we need to concentrate on, to be honest with you. But I also, take this moment that everyone does work in the club. You know, Keith, Katie, Alex, Sam, Tom, you know, Chaz, but especially Claire and Tom. You know, everyone's worked for a very hard period from the COVID, from March 2019 to get it to where it is today, and survived. We're one of the fewest clubs. You know, we didn't go for an embargo, we didn't go for the emergency loan, we stayed afloat, and that's down to the group of players we got, to the gaffer, and to everyone that does work here. You know, it's not an easy, I'm not making excuses, because I do believe that we need to do more to get more people in. However, don't forget the amount of effort and what hard work that's gone in for this club to still survive today, because I still see everyone talking about how they're surviving and they're through the eye of the storm. We haven't really made a meal about it. We've carried on and we've been lucky. You know, we've worked hard, we've got good players in, and we've had a really good cup success. So credit to all the lads on the pitch doing it, and the gaffer and everyone that's worked behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's not a criticism.
No, it's not at all. But I'm just trying to explain. We do need to get fans in, but don't forget there's a big picture as well, and it's been a very, very, very difficult time, because in March 2020, we're sitting there going, hold on a minute, we don't even know when the next money's coming in. We don't know when our next matches are, because straight after Oldham, we're on the bus to go to Port Vale, we have to turn back. You know, we don't know what's happening. You don't know when you're going to get your money. You don't know what deals you're going to be doing. Is there even a transfer market? I think we were one of the few people that sold a player in the COVID market. And then in January, we broke our record in the COVID. So we've done good things, but we do need to concentrate on increasing the fans coming in, because that's a variable that can change the model to drive towards self-sustainability.
Just on that note, by the eye of the storm and all that, we're going to hit worse patches on the playing side than what we are at the minute, because we'll be playing better sides. Yeah, we should have got better results 2 games. Saturday was just a blip, and you know, we've had 3 losses, I think it is, on the trot, and you would have thought that the sky's filling in and the wheels have come off and we're all 2 bob now and we're all this. I think we're all still only 4 points off the playoffs, and the lads are working twice as hard to get back in the playoffs now, or in and around the playoffs. Once again, that shows you the dedication that we got on the pitch. It's just sometimes you look around and you wish, everybody wishes, you think, why don't we just kick on? But 1 or 2 added players and we might have been, you know, if we would have took points off the Southend and Grimsby last year, the 2 sides that got relegated, we would have been in the playoffs without a shadow of doubt, because we was 7 short, wasn't it? And we took, how many points we take off at him? 1, I think. So, yeah, 2 out of 12. Was that right?
2, yeah.
2 out of 12. So we took 2 out of 12. So you think if we would have beat them, who's to say? But then, you know, we're going to beat all the top sides.
We beat most of the top 8, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Home and away, some of them. But that's the way it is, and that's the team we got. We hope this year it gels a bit and we get the injuries back, and we can all jog on, because it's uncertain time for the players as well, you know. It ain't all been hunky-dory for us on the pitch as well. Because everybody looks at the COVID and this and that and going, what's on, have I got a contract, ain't I got a contract? Is this going to happen, ain't that going to happen? And like I keep saying, the last thing you need is your own turn, your own crowd to turn on you. Not during the game, I'm talking about on these silly websites. I've got a bug about them, because I just think they should be banned. You know, unless you've got something constructive to say. So easy to hide behind it. It's so easy to say what you want to say without having the brains or the gonads to come out and say it to people.
The good thing is it's a minority.
Good thing is, that's a good word for you, minority.
And you also think as well, like you mentioned about before, we think about like going back to like last season, like where Bolton Wanderers, when they were like 20th in February and all that, and yet they ended up going on a ridiculous run.
I think I can a little bit of deja vu coming here. I thought that was the team I said.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they find all this money under the table and start buying players.
Or maybe I'm just saying it could happen when a couple of the injured guys, when they come back, and you never.
Don't let the secret. Have you seen the new James Bond film? Keep you under your hat.
But I'm just saying that you just never know with this league.
You never know. Good song, high
if
class.
the team goes on a ridiculously good run, then anything
Good
can
point.
happen.
Totally agree.
So finally, we're winding up. We're finishing 8 o'clock. Is that?
I ain't got a monkey. I don't care.
Missed it all night, wouldn't we? Listen, anybody, if you've got anything that you want to say, anything that you want
Good
to
or bad.
talk about, good or bad,
Anything you want to hear.
we're
Players as well.
Tom, you share it.
Can I ask a question?
Who's it? Of course you can.
Yep. All right, I can wait.
Right. Thanks, guys, for tonight. What I'd like to know is how can we help push the club forward?
I think financially, as you've got a couple of shotguns, you walk in the bank or so. I don't know. It's hard to say because I think a lot of people are doing what they're doing. It's a funny club, Crawley. Since I was here the last time, even because everybody thinks you're doing so well. Because let's not forget. What's it now? 10 years, 11 years, we're in a league club. And don't take it for granted. That's all I'm saying. Don't take it for granted being a league club. You've got league players here. You ain't got players that just come and fell out a tree. They've all learned the right. And I keep telling the boys, never underestimate being a pro or a pro football or a pro side. So I just think, I know Exeter, I think Tom will back this, 3 seasons, and they must have hundreds of helpers, don't they? They come out painting and decorating and do what they've got to do, and all for nothing. And the fans' trust come and do it, and sometimes they get on your nerves, but it's their club. It's their club, and I couldn't believe it. All these little helpers come out, all the old boys come down, and they're all out working, all for the club, all for nothing. So maybe, see Keith's the commercial fella now. So have a word with Keith here, get you to work. Erdem, anything on that?
The only thing you can do is carry on continuous support that you give us, and hopefully we can grow the fan base. Keep supporting us through thick and thin. Hopefully we'll I know we'll keep doing our best to try and get the results right on the pitch and off the pitch.
Should I say through thin and on thin?
Right. Thank you for that. And I must say, John, some of the football I've seen out on this pitch this year has been great.
Thank you.
Yes.
It has been, and that's a compliment to the players. And they're going to say it's all down to me now, aren't you?
Can we get through some of the linesmen who don't help the referee in the first place?
The thing with it is, like I said to you, I've been in football many, many years, and I've been lucky enough to have a lot of success in what we're doing. And this is one of the best bunch of lads that you'll work with because they're 100%. It helps that we brought a lot of them in here, and I wouldn't bring them in here if I thought they was all what's names, because it wouldn't be no good for me, and it wouldn't be good for them. Every time they put that shirt on, they'll be trying 100%. If you get beat honestly. That's all I keep saying to them. Don't give it up. Season's a long, long time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Who said that? Anybody remember? You? I bet you do. Oh, see, called you.
Well,
right, you're wrong.
I try not
wrong.
to look at the
Mo
table.
Farah. He didn't.
I try not to look at the table much.
Sorry, you want to ask me?
Go on, have a little carve up, you took on you on.
No, you don't know what I'm going to ask. Talking of injuries, do you think it's got anything to do with where we train?
I think a few of the lads are feeling it. It is difficult. I do like training on grass, but then this time of year, sometimes the heavy ground sap too much out of you.
Well, it's a great facility.
It's a good facility. Me personally, I don't like it. But then I'm a miserable git anyway. But it's good for the boys. They're out there running. You can run. You can train every day. There's no. Ask the lads. What do you think?
I don't mind it personally.
Sam?
Yes, thanks.
So you copies Tom everything. Jordan?
I think some players do struggle sometimes with it, but like the gaffer said, it's all about that conditions and things that are on there all through the winter.
He struggles with anything.
It's not training sessions or anything. So.
4 of our injuries were shoulder injuries. So
Yeah, that's what I asked.
you
That's
do
why
shoulder
that's
anyway.
exactly what I was Christmas
Or
asked.
4G.
Yeah.
Just one of those things.
I think you're lucky, and that's one thing you've got to look at Crawley as a town, you know. Surely it can cater for a football club. Surely it can cater for a training facilities that's a bit decent. You know, I know K2 over there, but it's just like a railway station over there, isn't it? It's got all dressed up and nowhere to go. They don't let anybody use it. And you know, that should be the town's or the football club's training centre. Possibly, it's easy for me to say, but you know, there's loads that would have used to be. Whether it's everyone selling them up now, build houses all over the place. But surely there must be someone sitting there that might actually want to go forward with the club. I think too many people in Crawley take it for granted. That's my opinion. Council and everything. I'm not talking about supporters. Possibly. There ain't no councillors in here, is it? Oh, there you go. Policemen. They're not very good as well. Who else?
Councillor Good.
Councillor Good. Sorry, Councillor Good. Councillor Good.
We're going to be a city soon.
Pardon?
Going to be a city soon.
Oh yeah? All the best. Happy birthday, Mr. City.
Change the name.
I don't think you'll ever change the name, but would you have to?
No, they're changing the name. They are.
Are they? What are they going to be called then?
Crawley City.
No,
I've got an email from the council.
No, that's in Turkey. You're getting bundled up. That's Istanbul City. You're in the wrong place. I ain't got a clue.
I'll show you the emails. I'll see you, mate.
Yeah, off the press news. Crawley's going to be called Crawley City if they get City.
They put in an application. That's what they said.
There you go.
Well, maybe they can throw in a training ground.
Yeah, exactly. Every city, bigger.
Every city, every cloud has a silver lining. But no, go on.
Yeah, and I know some clubs have got City in their name, even though they're not. Because I know, well, Guildford, they're called Guildford City, even though that's not technically a city. And there's a few up in Scotland as well.
Yeah. Every day's a school day, mate.
Yeah. Well, like Celtic City. Celtic City, is it? Or Rangers City?
Well, that's Glasgow.
So,
anyone else? All aboard the Skylark? What about the young boys at the back? Anything? What's the young lads' perspective on it all? Yeah. What's that? Go on, who's your favourite player? You don't have one? Good.
he's level over there, son.
No one else? There's got to be something else.
Quick question.
I thought he was going to be really having a row tonight, but he ain't.
Quick one for Erdem. Is the scoreboard still on the home or still in November?
Is the hand dryer? Is the toilet still working over the road there as well?
Why aren't you picking Sergio?
No, the scoreboard should be hopefully installed and up by the first week of December. It's in the process of being done. All the payments have been made towards it, so hopefully it should be all right. And we thank Paul for that as well. It's going to be an important revenue stream for the club. Up to, if we can get around 25 to 50k a year off it, that's something we can have. So it's going to be an important tool, another tool for us to keep driving towards self-sustainability.
I'm worried about players. The scoreboard will be flashing away. We've got no players. They can all read that. We need more players. So you can all read that on the new scoreboard. Anything from the groundsman at the back? Must say the pitch this year is in very good condition. Ben is the groundsman, man. A round of applause for Ben, please. And tell him we're using the pitch tomorrow, trainer. They've done a good job on the pitch. What about the Wasps joining us? Anybody got anything to say about that?
I think they're a good idea,
Yeah, I never.
They're more successful.
Are they?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Sam, you're playing with the Wasps next week.
I think so. I definitely think. I really do like the idea of them merging, of them not necessarily merging, but the partnership. I do think that's a really good idea.
Just say the Wasps are not merging with us. We are working together with the Wasps, and just sort of to wind things up and to let you know, things like the town centre bid, Manor Royal bid, K2, the council, people that we haven't perhaps worked with closely before. We are now starting to work very closely with them. The gratitude scheme that we're running jointly, the thing with the Wasps, we're trying to make Crawley a better place for everybody and get everybody together so we can all be successful together. And as the gaffer always says to me, what's the most important word? Unity. And we unify as a town, as a club, all the fans, all the players. That's what we're all about, isn't it? Unity.
The Three Musketeers.
Are they going to be playing out here?
No.
What was that? Was that the Fourth Musketeer?
No, we're not playing that here.
No, we've been helping.
Sometimes I wish we were.
As we've been raising money as a club, and we're working very hard with the community to try and raise money for Crawley Town. A lot of the sponsors have said they want to try and give money into women's football. So we have directed them to help Crawley Wasps, which they are very grateful for. And that's the relationship. And there's some basing us as somebody that's helping them in the town as opposed to competing with them in the town. So it's great that we're working together.
The last thing I'd like to say, Keith's done a good job off the pitch, but I think since even coming here last time and seeing it over the years when I've come down here to watch games and that, I think that the player, we've had more supporters, more community people, more kids coming up to the training ground, watching the training, meeting the players. I think the players this year and last year have been, well, not so much last year because you weren't about, but accessible. They do all their functions, they do all the school visits, they're always here, they're always about. All right, they don't go around and have a drink now and again because they're trained athletes. but they should do. Some of them, when they play, they need a drink to watch them play. So I know some of you feel, but all I'm saying is there's a bunch of people, everyone in this room, obviously tonight, we're all together. Because it hurts me and it hurts them as much as it hurts you when we lose. And it also, when we win, we can't get too carried away, even though we all look to win, even with the leads and this, that and the other. It's no good if you go out and lose the next game. So just make the most of your wins, because I'll tell you what, you get a lot more kicked at the what's names, what you do in this game than what you don't. So make the most of your winning. And I think if we all stick together, we'll win more than we lose, I'll tell you that much. And if winning, as you've just heard it off the man, is staying up, that's what their aim is to stay up and be sustainable. Ain't my aim, by the way. And I know it ain't the lads' aim. We want to get as high as we can. I'm not saying they don't, but that's the bottom line. To stay up. We're going to go for as high as we can and punch above our weight, and I will be screaming and shouting. And so will the boys. We will be kicking and punching anything to get results. That's what we've got to start doing. Get back to what we was doing. And then we'll be able to play the football. But it's not funny that you see the likes, I keep hearing Gary Neville and people like that saying what a football side we are. And when Erdem goes to his meetings, and sometimes that gets a little bit whiny, because I said before, I'd like them to say, how'd you win that game, you spawny kids? But that will come. We'll make our own luck.
One final question, Mark?
Yeah. I think you could get a better income at the club if you could hurry up the food outlets, because you can be 10 minutes getting a hamburger. They're so slow, they put one hamburger on at a time.
You're a rat. You're a rat.
Exactly. Can we get the food outlets to hurry up a bit, because they're so slow and people are going back to the seats without eating?
No, we've had a problem with the extractor fans, unfortunately, but we've taken the T-bars and all the catering inside now, so that we can make more revenue for it, because in the last years we've been paying extortionate amounts towards our catering and hospitality. So therefore now we're trying to change that, and it's probably adapting to the T-bars and adapting to providing a better service for all the fans. But the most important, the reason why we are doing what we're doing is to increase all the revenue streams of the club, and that's one of them that we visited this year, and hopefully it's going to be better.
You always have a little trouble with fans, don't you?
Sorry?
You always get trouble with fans, don't you?
Yeah, but the good news is you can read all about it on the new scoreboard in December. Telling you the fans are broke. Mark, I'd just like to introduce Mark there. He's been coming here a number of years. He was behind he's the tour manager and the manager of Boomtown Rats, and he was behind the concert and that the other week that a lot of the lads attended. So there is a lot of good publicity we got out of that alone, just showing all around the world, and yet that don't even get mentioned in our so-called lovely forums, things like that. People are quite easy to slag things off in this place. That's the only thing I find. Let's try and knock that on the head. I know people's mentalities are, but Mark put a lot of work in it, and we put a lot of work with him.
I'd like to finish on a positive note. You don't know this yet, so you probably told me off for telling you in public. But the Boomtown Rats have actually agreed to be our shirt sponsor for the FA Cup game. So we will have Boomtown on our sleeves when you're out beating Tranmere.
How much?
Bob Geldof's weighed in. It's no problem, mate. We're in. We're going.
How much?
Give us your money.
I have to say, I went to that gig. It was really good to see you.
Yeah, it was good.
With his
Crawley shirt on, his name on the back and all that. But we forgot, even the lads, it's got to be truthful, we asked them all to turn up. And
Blondie was there, wasn't he?
Blondie was there. Blondie didn't know where he was. He thought the Boomtown Rats was a new drink, I think. But they enjoyed it all, and like the boys, they didn't know the Boomtown Rats. And when we went over, you come over, Jill, didn't you? Sam Ashford come over. And it's hard to imagine that there you are with one of the most famous men like him or like him in the world, and there they are walking around with a Crawley shirt on. Well, people would pay money for that. And that's on the back of people like Mark and that. So all I'm saying is there's a lot of untapped people here that we're trying to bring in the club through people that we know. Me and Brad, as we talk about all the time, we get Erdem to it. There's some good people that phone up all the time to see what we're doing on, get good mentions on the telly. I think the Quest TV programme is the worst football show I've ever seen in my life, to be honest, for our division. I quite agree with you.
It's just all about, everything's just all revolves around the championship, I think. Like, it thinks the only football that's worth watching is in the championship.
Well, to be fair, it is.
Well,
but no. So, but all I'm saying is we're getting all this publicity and that. We got to sort of like thank people that are going to come in, and we need fresh money in the club, new eras. You know, we've only been in. We've only been in the job what 2 years. I think we've been the longest managers. So I just had to check this chair weren't plugged in when I sat in it because it don't last that long normally. Because and the players, you know, we got players here signing 2-year contracts and that, which they want to stay, good players. So let's hope we all sort of like see it through, make them welcome, because they make you welcome. All positives.
There you go. So come and see Boomtown, Tranmere Rovers.
Boomtown, Tamround Road, Tranmere, yeah, Rovers. But have a look at that. I would have a look, and I don't know the procedures, but have a look, see what your mates and that work to feel if it come to a game on a Friday. I think Friday nights could be your saviour, to be honest. Friday nights under lights, boom, Saturday and go and watch who you want then. No, it's a Friday game, that's what I'm saying, we should do a Friday.
You've got to watch the boss.
Pardon?
Go watch the boss.
No, don't buzz off. Is that it? I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank Erdem for coming. The players will be here for afterwards to have a chat with them, they don't know that yet, and they won't be drinking, but have a chat with them, and Keith, over to you.
Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Hope to see you on Saturday. John, Erdem, thank you very much. Come on, you Reds.